So this is the one I did and sent to you. So for example, like if you do the selection for Ghana here, you can now pick Ghanaian states. If you did say Senegal, you can pick Senegal states or provinces, and if you did and say Nigeria, you now have options to pick any state in Nigeria. So how did I do this? It's pretty simple. I've got a data validation page and then I've got a data table as well. So I will just copy this one. I'll do everything again from the top so that you can see. If I copy this one and I'll paste here. So I'll call this sheet data. So basically I've just gotten this data from ChatGPT. I've asked it to tell me the states, the list of states in every country. So I've gotten for a few states. So you can do the same. All you just need to do is to make sure that it's in this long kind of long format, country in one column, state in another column. Then that's the first stage. The second one is to have a open a data validation or to create a data validation sheet, and then this is the front end. I will just call this front end for now. Like this is where people are going. This is the sheet that people are going to be interacting with. In the front end, what you want them to select is country and state. These are the things you want to be them to be able to populate here. Now, let's go back to our data. With these are data, and let's go to our data validation page. Our data validation page, we need a list for country. So I can say country. So how do I get the list? I will just simply use the filter function to go and to secure the list from the data table. You can write them out, but there's no point since you can decide to type it, but there's no point because you can actually use formulas to bring them out. So here we go. These are the list of countries that we have. Now that we have the list of countries, nothing stopping us. We can easily go to the front end and then create a data validation for country. What we need to do is go to the data page, data tab, data validation from any to list, and then yeah, what is the source? We'll go back to the data validation and then we'll just select this and okay. So you see now that we can now select different countries. We have the drop down for countries. Well and good. This one is sorted. The next one we need is the drop down for states. How do we do that? Go back to data validation. Let's do for states now. So for us to do states, we need to create a filter function. So I'll say filter and then it's asking it for an array. How do I get an array? I'll go to the data um, to the data and then I'll select from the second row. I exclude the headers. From the second row, I'll select the entire table. So the entire table you want to use is your array. You want to make your filter on is your array. So once I have done that, put a comma and then it's asking me to include. Include is the column with which you want to base your filter on. So I'm going to be featuring on the country column. So I will highlight only the country column and for example, let's do where the country column is equal to say Nigeria, for example, so that we can see how the filter function is working. Nigeria. And then it's asking me, what if I check that column and I can't find what you've asked me to find? What should I do? That's what if empty is saying. You can decide to leave it blank, but in this case, let me just say please select for now. But you can decide to leave it blank if you want, and then good. So you see that the filter function has populated all the states in Nigeria, which is good. So here you can say country, and here we can say states. Now the next thing will be to populate or to transfer this column or these data validation feeds into our front end, because at the moment we don't have it on our front end. If we say Nigeria, for example, we don't have it yet. So how do we do it? Is to click on this box, go again to data, we're already there, go to data validation, select list, go to the source, pick here. So from the second column, just drag it down. I will just suggest that you can drag it down as far as, say, let's say 54. I don't think there's any state in Africa that has got more than 54, any country in Africa, I mean, that has got more than 54 states. So I think that would work. So now you see that we now have the states showing. But another thing you observe is that if I now say Ghana, it's still showing us Nigerian states, which means that it's not working. The filter is not working. Why is it not working? It's not working because this our data validation formula which is here, is hard coded to Nigeria. So we have to change this from a hard code to a dynamic kind of selection. So what we need to do is delete this and we'll replace it with this. So this is the country, place it with this. So by doing this, it's going to make it dynamic. I'm just going to make this an absolute reference. Sorry, I want to make this an absolute reference by adding the dollar symbol. I will make it an absolute reference, and that's it. Good. So now see that it has changed. Now watch, if we come back here and we do Nigeria, see, we cannot pick Nigeria. If we do Ghana, we cannot pick Ghana states, Ghanaian states. If we do Cameroon, for example, we cannot make selections from Cameroon. If we pick, say, Senegal, we cannot make selections of Senegal. So basically, what is happening here is that as we're doing these changes, it is changing our data validation, and these states are in turn reporting themselves here in this data validation field for selection. So if I had to go back to Nigeria now, I will have Nigerian states in the drop down. I can pick anyone I want. So basically it's as simple as that. If I now say select country and state, just to give some bits of information to people that want to use this, let them know what to do and how to use it. Basically that's all we need to do here. Then when I'm done, I can decide to hide these two columns. That's it. So nobody knows what is going on in the back end. And yeah, just like that.